Hey there, creators! Niamh here with
Rhiannon
and Brigit. Yep. Okay, so it's Rhiannon and Brigit, and so I asked Rhiannon what the next art lesson she wants to do is. So I had her flip through the Art for Kids, the drawing book, and she decided that she would like to do a landscape. So we're going to use the soft pastels that we got from the Powerful Packs, and we're going to do a landscape. Okay? Does that sound fun? All right, so quick lesson. We did already read this, and I'm not going to reread this for the camera, but I'll summarize it. What we learned was about color and perspective, right? This one talked a little bit more about perspective, but this one talked about how things in the foreground are a lot darker than they are in the background, right?
Yeah.
What's the foreground? It's right up front, right? It's right up front in the foreground. And here in the middle ground, we have some of these. It's a little lighter. And also we use like sharper pencils or things like that in the front, whereas we use duller pencils in the background, right? And you see the mountains, how are the hills, the first set of hills that's closest to the tree and the house is darker, and then it gets a little bit lighter, and a little bit lighter, and a little bit lighter, right?
Yeah.
So,
but we're going to do crazy cool.
Yes. So the first things first, we want to draw out just very lightly with some pencils, just a little sketch that we want to do, okay? So I'm going to get you a pencil.
Huh? White.
You want to use the white pencil?
What?
Okay, well that is a pastel pencil. So I'm sorry about that sound. Our air conditioner is going on, and I'm not going to turn it off because it is insanely warm right now and a bit humid in here. So I'm going to keep the air conditioner going. So I'll try to talk over it. Sorry if we have some trouble hearing me. So we don't want to draw too tiny like that. What I'm talking about, what we're going to draw is just like that landscape picture. We can quickly draw just the basic outline of like a house, you know, something like that.
Are you going to do the same exact thing?
Not really. No, but I'm going to use that as a guide. So a house and a tree. So I'm going to put a tree right here. Okay, and then we're going to put some grass around it, and see how I'm going very light and very loose. I'm not making this look like really fancy. I'm just going really fast, and then I'm going to put some hills right here. Hills are pretty easy to do, and I'm going to put a second layer of hills right here, and then a third layer of hills back here. Okay, and then the grass, I'm going to put a few lines just to show where I want the lines to show. So see, that's a real quick, really fast drawing, and it's just a guide. This is just a guide. So do you want to draw? You want it sharpened?
Yes, please.
What are you going to draw, Brigit?
I'm going to draw something that's really secret.
Something that's really secret. Okay, Brigit's doing a secret drawing.
Me too.
Alright, so the next part, let's get, so we want to have like probably 3 shades of green, right? So that we have a foreground, a midground, and a background, right? Alright, I'm going to show you how to do this. I'm going to take 3 shades of green, and
That looks like a blue there.
this does look like probably a bit of a, maybe I'm going to use this for the details because it's a much darker green, almost blue. So I'll use this one as a dark. This one actually looks more dark. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so what I want to do is I want to start putting in the grass. You watching, Rhiannon? So I'm going to start with the mid-ground here. And I'm basically just going to go in the middle like this. And I'm just loosely putting it in, but also filling it. You see how I'm using a flat side? I'm not using an edge like this where it would make it nice and sharp. I'm using a flat edge like this, okay? So I'm putting it a little bit in the foreground and a little bit in the background, but this is the mid-ground color that I'm going for, okay? And now I'm gonna go the foreground. I'm gonna use the darker green. And we're gonna go like this. And we'll put a little bit in the mid-ground here. Like that, right? And now we're gonna use the lightest green in the background. And it's okay if you go over your drawings a little bit because the pastels will, you can keep going over them, so it's not a big deal. Now remember that what we learned last time about the pastels, you don't blow them, you tap them like this. Get all the extra stuff off, okay? So I'm doing that, and I'm bringing a little bit here in the front just to grab some highlights, like that, okay? All right, now I'm going to use some blending stumps.
Whoa, that's a lot of blending stuff.
Yep. So I'm just going to go through and start blending it out now, right?
Yeah, but we don't have to blend.
If you want it rougher, you don't have to blend, but you see how nice and even it makes everything look? Isn't that nice? Oops.
Yeah.
And then it already gives the illusion that there's something off in the distance, that this is in the front and there's something off in the distance, even though I'm not even done yet. Now I'm going to add in that darkest color, and I'm going to put in I'm using the edge of it, a corner of it, so I'm just getting the tip, just like a sharp pencil, and I'm adding in some details, some grass, to make it look even more like we got something in the front here, right? And I'm going to add in, I'm going to use this color, which is what I used in the front here, and I'm going to put it in the mid-ground a little bit. Not as much, because we don't want to bring too much attention to the mid-ground, right? And then I'm going to use that white pencil to add some highlights in the front, and this will really help bring your attention to the foreground here, because what the highlights are showing is where the sun just catches the sides of some of these blades of grass that are in the foreground. It just makes them look a little bit more realistic to have some highlights on them.
Yeah, but you're also getting like.
So now that we have the grass part there, that's pretty much done. Now let's do the hills. Now we can go, hills are also green, but maybe we have some rocks in there. Let's do this one for the hills here. So we're going like this, and I'm just kind of filling in the first row of hills. And it's okay if I go over that tree a little bit. I can go on top of that because it's pastels, and pastels are very forgiving. So if you make a mistake, you can always go over top of pastels. So it's okay that it goes over the tree a little bit, maybe a little bit over the house. That's not as much of a big deal, okay? An autumny one, good choice.
I need to because it's close to autumn.
It is close to autumn here in New England.
I need my pepper translated today. Okay.
The hills are pretty easy. You just do lumps like that, right?
And look at my hills. Some are even mountains over there.
Some look like mountains. Cool.
So like
have a
I'll have to take this piece of green.
branch coming off this way. And another branch coming this way. Yeah. Then I'm going to make it darker with some black.
I'll use like this reddish brown for a shawl. Whoa!
See what I'm doing here? See, and I'm using darker colors for the front, for the image coming in the front. Okay? Now,
I can't do that good.
yes you can. That's what I'm trying to teach you. It's pretty easy. I like what you're doing so far.
Do you like what I'm doing so far?
Yes, I love it, Brigit.
That really looks bubbled there.
Yeah.
Look, I'm finished.
Wow. Look at rainbows. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I love how abstract it looked and very expressionistic. You're a very expressionistic artist, Rhiannon. Mom's not so impressionistic or expressionistic. I tend to like the realism and things like that, but I love how your pieces seem to have like a lot of emotion in them.
Yeah,
like it a lot.
it's my feeling.
It's your feelings.
Let's chat.
So
It's really so.
do you want to sign your work? Hold on.
Yeah.
So why don't you write RD or Rhiannon or Rainbow or whatever you want to, however you want to sign your name, write it right there.
So I won. I finished play, so I won. I finished play, so I won. Okay, Mom.
I put Niamh-Creates 17. Okay? Yes, Brigit, you won. You finished first. 2017. Good
Yep.
job. Look at that.
170.
All right, good job.